and that is to go first through the resident or applicant's at a glance page, simply by clicking on the name here. The reason why we suggest this is it's still extremely important for you guys to do your due diligence. Double check the information that is entered into OneSite because we've automated your documents to read OneSite, so they can only be as smart as what is located here within their page. So if there's information missing, then when we generate our documents, it's not going to have anything to pull from, so the information on the documents will be missing. If the information is incorrect, then the information that it pulls from was incorrect, thus your documents will be incorrect. So this is a crucial point in ensuring that our information pulls over seamlessly. So during this due diligence, it only takes a few moments. Double check your lease start date, your lease end date. Make sure that truly does match what the application says or what the quote says. Double check your contacts. Make sure that everybody was given the appropriate relationship, and make sure they were given the appropriate signer role as well, i.e. a lease signer, an occupant, a minor, because that does play into who will be able to sign your documents once that comes time. Double check your future charges. This is probably the most important area to check in regards to a move-in and renewal packet. Always check the charges. Make sure that any monthly charges that this resident will have is listed here in scheduled billing. If it's missing, then it may be missing in your document depending on how the setup was done. So if it's pet rent, if it's a concession, if it's a rentable item, anything in addition to rent, make sure it is listed here in scheduled billing. Even if it's a one-time fee, meaning maybe a one-time pet fee, a one-time concessions, those also need to be listed here in scheduled billing, and they need to be charged as a daily fee, and the start date and end date must match the lease start date. That is how the system recognizes this charge as a truly one-time charge, and that is how your document will be able to successfully read it as well. Once you've verified your scheduled billing, go to your Miscellaneous tab. Make sure that any vehicles have been inputted if they've provided you that information, and make sure that any pets have been inputted if they do have a pet. A lot of times inside your packet, your pet addendums may have what we call a pet constraint, which means that particular addendum is looking for something here within OneSite to tell it whether or not it's needed given the household. So if the person has a pet, but we just did not list it here, then the household basically looks as if it does not have a pet, and the packet thinks that pet addendum is not needed, and it hides it from you. If it sees a pet listed here, then a pet addendum will be present inside your packet because it knows the household will need to sign agreeing to this pet that's listed. So always ensure that you take the time to do your due diligence. Once you've verified the information, everything looks as up-to-date to you as it possibly can, then you can go ahead and access your packet by going through what we call your move-in wizard over here to the left side of the screen. You're going to hear a lot of people in RealPage refer to these action items over here to the left as wizards. That is because each one of these take you through certain checklists or steps to complete an overall action in OneSite. So think of it like an installation wizard anytime you want to install something to your computer. It will walk you through the setup steps that need to happen in order to complete that installation. Same thing applies here. So when we click on your move-in wizard, it opens up your move-in checklist. Now you guys may already be familiar with a few different columns listed here, one of which is called Required Task. If you guys see this, then you understand that anything listed here has to have a green checkbox out beside it in order for your move-in button to become enabled, and so that you can move this person in when it comes time. You may also be familiar with a column called Additional Task. This column is basically things that are recommended be completed prior to moving this person in, but would not hinder you from moving them in had you missed one or two. But now with your custom packets, you're also going to have an additional column called Documents. Your Documents column is an extension of your required tasks. You do have to have a green checkbox out beside your documents here in order for your Move In button to become enabled and in order to move this person in. So we're going to click on that packet now that we've done all of our due diligence so that we can go ahead and generate our lease paperwork.